Let's go Browns! There was some news recently that caused quite a stir, much to the delight of a few and the dismay of many. Let's take a closer look, but first, be sure to hit the like button to stay informed, and comment below if you want Kevin Stefanski to stay or leave the Browns. Okay, let's get to it. Deshaun Watson is expected to return to Cleveland next year. I know it's not exactly shocking news, but it's official. According to Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports, Watson, along with head coach Kevin Stefanski and GM Andrew Berry, will be back in 2025. Now, for some fans, this may be hard to hear, considering how this season has played out. Here's the deal. Watson is locked into a fully guaranteed contract worth $46 million per year through 2026. Cutting him? That would be financially crippling. In fact, his salary cap hit in 2025 and 2026 is a whopping $72.9 million. That's a lot of money invested, and the Browns don't really have a way out. So whether fans like it or not, Watson is coming back, and the front office needs to figure out how to get some kind of return on that investment. Let's not sugarcoat it, though, this trade has been a disaster so far. The Browns gave up 3 first-round picks, plus 3 additional picks, to bring Watson to Cleveland. That's the kind of capital that could have been used to build a young, dynamic core around this roster. Instead, the team was handcuffed by this massive contract, and Watson hasn't played anywhere near the level we saw in 2020 when he led the league in passing yards. And now, coming off a torn Achilles tendon, his future is more uncertain than ever. But here's where things get interesting. Myles Garrett, the heart of this defense, is still fully invested in this front office. When asked about Stefanski and Berry, Garrett didn't hold back. He said, "Them being here, wanting to put the right pieces in place, that's always going to give me confidence. As long as that's the case, then I want to be here and I'll be happy to play for Cleveland." That's great, Browns fans. Garrett isn't just the best player on the team, he's one of the best in the NFL. With 11 sacks, 22 QB hits, and 15 tackles for loss this season, he's been the rock that holds this defense together. But even Garrett admitted there was dysfunction. He revealed that the players weren't on the same page, especially on defense, which dropped from number 1 to number 21 this season. Garrett didn't mince words, saying, "When you watch the film, you see how often we beat ourselves. That's what bad teams do. And that hurts, because this roster shouldn't be a 3-10 football team." And speaking of dysfunction, let's talk about David Njoku. He's been battling injuries all season, from a sprained ankle to a nagging hamstring issue that could keep him out against the Chiefs. He's tried to push himself, but it's been one setback after another, and it shows. His average per reception is a career low, at 7.8 yards. That's not the production the Browns expected from a player with so much talent. Whether Njoku can return to form remains to be seen, but his status for Sunday's game is definitely up in the air. Now, here's a bright spot. The Browns still have faith in kicker Dustin Hopkins. I know he's been struggling lately, missing 6 of his last 9 kicks, but the team believes it's just a mechanical issue, not a mental one. Hopkins identified the issue this week, and he's been brilliant in practice. Riley Patterson can handle kicks against Kansas City, but Hopkins is still the guy to call the shots. Long term. So where does this leave us, Browns fans? Deshaun Watson will be back, whether we like it or not. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are here for another year. Myles Garrett is holding down the fort, but even he's frustrated by the lack of execution. And let's not forget, the Browns are set to face the Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs, this weekend, a game that could get ugly if key players like Njoku are out. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Deshaun Watson coming back next season? Can this coaching staff and front office turn things around, or are the Browns doomed to stay in this mess? Do you still have faith in Kevin Stefanski, or is it time for a change? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The Browns could be making a major change at kicker, and it's about time we talk about it. Dustin Hopkins, who just last season looked like the most reliable kicker in the league, is having the worst year of his career. 9 misses on 25 attempts, including a shocking miss inside 30 yards and 5 misses inside 50. Add 2 missed extra points to that, and Hopkins is sitting at an ugly 64% conversion rate for field goals. It's been rough, no way around it. Now here's where things get interesting. The Browns announced they're elevating kicker Riley Patterson from the practice squad for Sunday's game. Head coach Kevin Stefanski has publicly stood by Hopkins all week, saying he's still their guy. But this move makes you wonder, is Patterson here to back up Hopkins, or will he get the chance to take over and prove himself as the Browns' new kicker? If you ask me, this feels like Hopkins has a short leash, one more miss, and Patterson could take his spot. Let's be real here, Browns fans. Kicking has cost this team valuable points in recent games. Hopkins has gone 2 for 7 over the last 4 contests. For a team struggling to put points on the board, those missed opportunities are absolutely crushing. And the fact that Hopkins signed a 3-year, $15.9 million extension after his phenomenal 2023 season makes this collapse even harder to swallow. But that's not the only news today. 2 rookies are coming off injured reserve and could make an impact this week. Defensive tackle Mike Hall Jr., the second-round pick out of Ohio State, is back in the mix after missing significant time. Hall showed promise earlier in the year, playing a key role in the defensive line rotation before his injury. The Browns will hope he can add some spark to the defense down the stretch. Then there's Miles Harden, the 7th-round cornerback from South Dakota. Harden was placed on IR after Week 1 without even taking the field, but now he's healthy and could make his NFL debut this Sunday. For a Browns secondary that's battled injuries all season long, Harden's return is a welcome boost. Oh, and let's not forget about James Proche. The wide receiver and return specialist is also getting called up from the practice squad. He hasn't been a huge factor on offense, with just 3 catches for 21 yards this season, but he's been solid in the return game, averaging nearly 10 yards per punt return. With field position being so critical, Proche's presence could make a difference. And finally, we've got to talk about Nick Chubb's future. Chubb has been working his way back from that devastating knee injury, and he's starting to look like his old self. Here's the kicker. Chubb becomes a free agent soon, and while he's made it clear he wants to stay in Cleveland, there haven't been any talks yet. Zach Jackson from The Athletic even pointed out that these next 2 home games could be Chubb's last in a Browns uniform. I don't know about you, but that's tough to think about. Chubb has been the heart and soul of this team for years, and while injuries and age might make the front office hesitant, his leadership and impact can't be overlooked. The Browns could decide to draft his replacement in 2025, but if Chubb's willing to return on a team-friendly deal, you've got to think hard about keeping him around. So, Browns fans, we've got a lot to talk about. First off, do you think it's time to move on from Dustin Hopkins? Should Riley Patterson get the job if he looks good this weekend? And what about Nick Chubb? Would you bring him back, or is it time for the Browns to look to the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think about these big decisions as the Browns prepare for the offseason. And as always, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the update and hit that subscribe button so you never miss the latest Browns news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Go Browns!